If you get infected, your brain slows down by the root of 1/6. That's what, about 40%?
That isn't the important part. Those infected by Radical 6 eventually develop a powerful urge to commit suicide.
Does that mean Sigma's gonna try and kill himself at some point? Yeah, you're right. That would explain why Quark was, well, trying to kill himself.
There are two other things in here that worry me. First, the part about how they haven't managed to develop a treatment for it yet. What do you make of that?
Yeah, they didn't get a treatment till 2038. Here, look at this. I got a secret that tells you about it. See? 2038. I already know this shit. What am I supposed to make? What am I supposed to make of it? Maybe they just hadn't found one when this journal was written. I mean, from what we know, there's a drug called Excelivir that cures
Exactly. But in the journal it says it might take 20 years to make something like that.
it. Hold on a second. I'm getting confused. When was this thing even written?
December 29th. No year.
Well, there's no way it was written this year.
Yeah, probably not. Anyway, moving on. The second concern I have is about the underground shelters it mentions. The newspaper article said something about quarantining people too. After we read it, we all thought the same thing. What if this was one of those quarantine facilities? But this journal seems to suggest the opposite.
Right. This journal says they're quarantining the healthy people.
The few humans who survived the outbreak have been locked away by the government in underground shelters.
You're trying to say that this place might be one of those underground shelters, which would mean we're all supposed to be uninfected. We would have been thrown in here to keep us safe.
Yeah. I mean, there's no way to say for sure at this point, but it seems possible.
But Quark's been infected, right?
And maybe the virus got in somehow.
That would be bad.
Just think about it for a minute. If this is one of those shelters, a lot of things start to make sense. Maybe we've been here for a long time. Like, maybe they put us to sleep somehow. Made us sleep for years, maybe even decades. While we were sleeping, the pandemic that the newspaper article talked about happened. And whoever had this journal made this entry.
And then once the antiviral treatment was finished, they woke us up?
Right. It's all just speculation, but...
No, that doesn't make sense. I mean, it seems like a pretty plausible scenario, but we were all captured before the pandemic started, right?
Yeah.
And how would they have known to put us, how would they have put us to sleep for that long? How would they have known to do that? But most importantly, why the hell are we playing the nonary game if the point of this place is to save us? Throwing a bunch of people into a game that might kill them is a pretty weird way to protect them from a pandemic.
Yeah, you're right.
See?
We don't have enough information to make any real conclusions. I think we should see if we can find anything else.
Fi had barely finished speaking before she took off for the magenta door. That's the lounge. Hey, weren't you coming to the infirmary with me?
Changed my mind. You can tell me about Quark later.
And with that, there she goes. She was gone. Man, I let out a long, tired sigh and started off toward the infirmary. See, no transition. Isn't that great? How's he doing?
Stable, as far as I can tell.
Still sleeping.
I see. Mind if I have a look?
Please, go ahead.
Yep, that's Quark. I made my way around the partition to the side of Quark's bed. The journal and the thing Fi and I had talked about would definitely need to be addressed, but for the moment, the AB game was what I needed to concentrate on. Lives were at stake. Mine and Quark's. If the journal was telling the truth, then as soon as the anesthetic wore off, Quark would go insane again. What if we weren't able to restrain him a second time? What if he managed to kill himself before we got to him? Or perhaps he'd just get out of the infirmary and go hide somewhere. On the other hand, it wasn't like we could keep anesthetizing him forever. There was only one way to save Quark, and that was with Excelivir. Unfortunately, Dio had stolen it. If we wanted to get it back, Clover and I would have to vote ally, but if I did, there was an excellent chance I would end up dead. The question was, then, what to do? Sacrifice myself to save Quark? Or keep quiet about the danger he was in to save myself? It was so faint I almost didn't hear it.
Grandpa.
He shifted a little, then fell silent again. It was enough, though. What on earth had I been thinking? How could I have even considered letting a child die in my place? Suddenly my cheeks felt hot with embarrassment and disgust. That I had considered letting Quark die, even for a minute, was pathetic. There was only one choice. There had only ever been one choice. No way was I going to leave Quark to die. My hands tightened into fists as I looked down at him. Any uncertainty I'd felt before was gone. I knew what I had to do.
10 minutes remain until
The sad music, dude.
Closes.
Listen to the sad boys music.
All players, please enter your votes. If no vote is recorded before the deadline has passed,
It's a
any non-voting
sad
parties
jam.
will automatically ally. Results will be displayed in the warehouse.
Looks like it's almost time. You two should head back.
What about you?
Not going. I'm worried about Quark.
But you're a solo. If you don't vote,
He has 6 points. He'll be
I'll
fine.
automatically ally. I know. I heard the voice on the intercom just like you.
What are you going to do if Kay and Alice vote betray?
Nothing, I suppose. Just means I lost that round. I'd just be voting ally anyway. You know who my opponents are, right?
Pretty sure Kay and Alice would vote out. At least Kay would vote ally. I don't know about Alice. She probably wants to betray to get out of the fucking danger zone.
Alice only has one BP left. If I pick betray and they chose ally, I'd kill her. I'm not so desperate to escape that I'm gonna kill someone for it. And even if I was, I can't leave Quark behind. You see? Doesn't matter if I go into the AB room or not. My vote's the same either way.
Tinmyoji's mind was made up. Trying to persuade him to leave would have been pointless. Alright. Take care of Quark.
Of course. You worry about yourself.
okay.
Let's go. Luna and I headed out of the infirmary, leaving Tinmyoji and Quark behind. When we got to the warehouse, we found everyone else waiting for us. Well, not quite everyone. One other person was missing. Hey, where's Dio?
Take a look at the doors.
They're all closed. When we came in here before, the one on the far right was open.
And that would mean...
That he went in, I guess.
Exactly.
That bastard. He'd probably been worried I might try and take the Excelsior from him by force, so he'd hidden himself in the AB room. What a coward. I'd made up my mind to choose ally no matter what, but a part of me had still considered trying to jump Dio if he dropped his guard. Now he made sure I wouldn't get the chance to try.
Where's Tenmyoji?
Oh,
Luna explained Tinmyoji's choice.
I see. Well, I guess that means I don't have to worry about him picking betray.
right. What will you guys be choosing then?
Ally, of course.
Because my BP is 6, I assume.
Yes. As long as Tenmyoji votes ally, I can't choose betray. If I do, K's BP will go up to 9.
But what if he forces you?
That was the most dry, half-hearted, forced laugh ever.
You needn't worry. I would never do something so crass.
Really?
God, I love Kay.
Of course.
Look at his cute face. Look at him. I love this man. He's a hero. He's a paragon of humanity.
Then you don't need to go in there.
Excuse me?
Alice can vote by herself. Then we don't have anything to worry about, right?
Well, I apologize, but I'm afraid I can't agree to that.
Why not?
I just can't. Shall we go, Alice?
Hey, hold on a minute there.
Hold up. Kay continued briskly toward the AB room as if he simply hadn't heard Phi. Alice scrambled to follow him, perhaps concerned that he would lock her out. Only seconds later, they disappeared into the third room from the left.
I hope Alice is going to be okay.
Well, there's nothing we can do now. If Kay told the truth, she'll be fine.
Bing, bing.
5 minutes remain until Ambidex game polling closes.
Time's almost up. Come on, Luna.
Right.
They headed off at a trot toward the second room from the right and were soon out of sight inside it. All right, Clover, time for us to go.
Oh, okay. Right
Smile.
behind you.
I sighed to myself and headed toward the leftmost AB room. Shunk. Boodaloo-doo. Boodle-dum. Wee plop.
What are you gonna do?
I don't really have a choice, do I? There's only one thing I can do. I'm gonna choose Ally.
You can't! You'll
Sad
die.
music. Well, you never know. Just because Dio told us to ally doesn't necessarily mean he's gonna pick Betray.
Do you really think a jerk like that is going to choose Ally if he doesn't have to?
Dio is
No,
absolutely
no
gonna
way.
betray.
He's got 6 BP right now. If he picks Betray, then he'll have 9 points.
Well, what about you?
Huh?
You've got 6 BP too, right? If Dio chose ally and we chose Betray, then you'd have 9 BP.
What? No, that's not... I didn't even realize that until you brought it up.
Yeah, sure, Clover. Uh-huh, yup.
I'm just trying to tell you that Dio is going to pick Betray. That's
Oh,
who he is.
little old me, I didn't even notice I had 6. I'm trying to tell you that I've made up my mind. That's who I am. The only choice is ally. It's the only chance we have to get that medicine back.
That's why Dio called you an IG. What makes you think he's going to give us the Excelivir, even if you do what he says?
Maybe he won't, but I can guarantee that he'll destroy it if I pick Betray. That's who he is.
Fine. If you aren't gonna listen to me, then I guess I don't have a choice.
Don't do it, Clover.
I'll be pushing that button.
Huh? Before I realized what was going on, Clover ducked past me and ran toward the voting machine. No! Stop! I snatched her by the arm and hauled backward with all my strength. Fight, 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 fight.
Ow!
Sorry. Guess there was a little too hard, huh?
Hey! What do you think you're doing? You can't just throw a girl around like that.
Well, you're the one who tried to trick me.
But you're gonna die! Dio's going to kill you! You can't do this!
Am I looking at the ceiling? Or the
I
floor?
don't
I
want
guess
you to
the
die.
floor. Because it looks really close.
10 seconds remain until Ambidex game polling closes.
Clover, I'll be fine. Trust me. Look how long the flowchart is if I pick ally. It'll be fine, girl. Thanks. It means a lot to hear you say that, Clover. I gave her my best reassuring nod and turned to face the polling machine.
3, 2, 1. Round 2 of the Ambidex game has
Goodbye, sad
been
boys
completed.
music.
Results will be displayed in the warehouse. Thank you for your participation. Ambidex gates now opening.
Clover and I stepped out of the AB room. For several long moments, we all just stared at one another, filling text box after text box with ellipses. Words weren't necessary. Everything she would have tried to tell me, I could already see in her eyes. Let's go. I turned and headed toward the results screen.
Sigma.
What's Sigma? I heard her behind me, her voice barely louder than a whisper. The choice was already made. I stood up straight and kept walking. Time to die! Holy shit, he actually betrayed her. Well, I'm dead. Look at this shit! Kay, what did you do? Wow. What did you do, Kay?
Results from round 2 of the Ambidex game will now be displayed. Please check your
Well,
bracelet
time to die.
to see your updated bracelet points.
9, 3, 3, 4, 9, -1.
What?
Sigma's BP is...
Okay.
Negative.
Suddenly, all eyes were on me. I felt their weight, but stood my ground. It was the result I'd expected. I took a deep breath and closed my eyes. I didn't have to wait long. Go! There was a sharp, quick pain in my wrist, barely even noticeable. I couldn't feel anything flowing into my veins, but I knew it was there. First would be the anesthetic Soporil. Oh, God. I blinked and my vision started to blur. When I tried to think, it felt like my mind had been stuffed with cotton. My legs began to wobble, then gave out entirely as I crumpled to the floor.
Sigma! Sigma! Hang on! Hey! Sigma! Get up!
Sigma!
Oh no! Oh no, oh no, oh no!
Oh, no, no, no! Trying to open my eyelids was like trying to lift sheets of lead. My eyes had lost the ability to focus, but I could make out a blur that had to be Dio in front of the number 9 door. Damn it. You'll keep your promise. God damn it. I groaned and, with a Herculean effort, lifted my head and then my sluggish body off the floor. Every step was a battle, and wherever I shifted my weight, my muscles threatened to give out again. But somehow I forced myself ahead, a single thought burning in my mind. I would reach Dio. Then, at last... Hey, not blurry. The smudge of color faded into a recognizable person. I threw out my hand in front of him. Give it back. Give me the medicine.
Give it back. Don't act like it's yours. Aren't we supposed to share everything we find here?
I don't care. Just hand me the medicine.
What are you talking about?
We found the Excelavir in the laboratory.
And Dio stole it.
What?
You mean he has it? Right now?
Yeah. So?
I kept my promise. Now you... I wasn't a fool. I knew the kind of person Dio was. There was a chance he wouldn't give us back the Excelavir. If he didn't, then I'd die with my hands around his throat. I gathered as much of my mind as I could and got ready to attack.
Fine.
Not quite what I'd been expecting.
Here.
With a shrug, he pulled the vial out of his pocket and tossed it toward me. I caught it and pulled the tiny glass bottle to my chest, worried I might drop it. The label said, unmistakably, Excelavir. It was the real thing. Clover, take it. I held it out toward her.
Right. Of course.
She quickly tucked it into her pocket. She has pockets? Good. Now at least Quark will be alright. With that, the last of my strength left me and I dropped to my knees.
Sigma, are you okay?
No, I'm dying in like 7 minutes.
Sigma!
I guess this is it.
First is the Soparil, which put you to sleep. 9 minutes later, the Tubo Killer Rain is injected, numbing your respiratory muscles. I guess you could say it'll really take your breath away.
9 minutes. Once the soap oil was injected, I had 9 minutes until the muscle relaxant followed it. About 4 minutes had already passed, which left me with 5, give or take a little. In 5 minutes, I'd be dead. What could I do in 5 minutes? How could I save myself? I gave a raspy, quiet laugh. Even with death staring me in the face, I seemed to be determined to struggle right up until the very end. Okay, Sigma, you can do this. Clinging desperately to what little consciousness I had left, I racked my brain for any possible solutions. How could I save myself? How? There had to be something. Every problem, no matter how difficult, has a solution. There's always another option. Hopelessness is a state of mind. I just had to think. Think. If there was a way out of it, I'd find it. I wasn't ready to give up on life yet. There had to be an answer. To be continued? Oh, another lock. Oh, good. Another lock. 5 minutes of life. Lock number 3. Oh, this one's unlocked now? How did I unlock that? So wait, if this is lock 2, and this is lock 3, and this is lock 8 and 9, means 4, 5, 6, and 7 are in here. Somewhere. There's 2 more locks. I don't know how I unlocked this one. Is there proof it wasn't murder? Sure. Let's go see what's changed here. Alice! First thing I saw when I stepped through is Blossom. Well, I'm going to fast forward until Clover gets here. And says, I'm going to murder you! Yeah, she's fucking dead. She got scalpeled. It's true. Alright. Alright, where's Clover? Here we go.
Who did this?
See? Frowny face. That's good. Keep it up.
Say something. Answer me.
Please, Clover, calm down. We don't even know if she was killed.
Then what happened?
Smile.
An accident? You think a scalpel just dropped from the ceiling and stabbed her?
Cool it, kid.
You did it, didn't you?
Are you nuts?
Then who did it?
Clover, even if we assume that she was murdered, that doesn't necessarily mean the killer was one of us, does it?
Wait a minute. You went into the AB room with Alice during the last round, didn't you? Something happened in there, didn't it?
No, nothing happened.
Don't lie to me! There's no way Alice would just run off like that! She wouldn't leave me! Something happened! If she was going to leave, she'd tell me! She...
Hey, Clover, don't you think just assuming Alice was murdered is jumping the gun a little bit?
How can you look at her and say that? Scalpels don't just stab people all by themselves!
Oh, are we going to talk about the book that says she probably killed herself? Maybe that's how it's unlocked.
I see. I get it now. You're all in on it, aren't you?
Hee
It wasn't just one killer. It was 6! No wonder you're so anxious to say this wasn't a murder.
Clover, please, just settle down.
Fine. Show me some proof then. Prove to me in 10 seconds that you didn't murder my friend, or I'm going to kill every last one of you bastards! You're all going to die just like she did!
Hey, hold on a minute.
8, 7,
Clover!
6, 5, 4,
Clover!
3, 2, 1.
Clover! Oh. I didn't recognize some of those. Schwam. There it is. Yeah. Those infected by Radical 6 develop an urge to commit suicide. Suddenly, Clover moved. I leapt forward and clamped my hand around her wrist.
What are you doing?
Clover, listen to me. Alice wasn't killed. Nobody murdered her. She took her own life.
What? No.
Oh my god, the achievement for this lock was called I Can't Believe It's Not Murder. Who named these achievements? They're so good
no way
and
she'd
so
do that.
bad. It's true. She stabbed herself in the heart with the scalpel.
All right. Where'd she get the scalpel then?
Well,
I did hear someone come into the infirmary right after the AB game ended.
Was that before I showed up?
Yes. I got up to see who it was, but they were already gone. It could have been Alice.
so she could have taken the scalpel then.
Yes, I think so.
You're lying.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know who all's infected. I know Sigma was in at least one timeline. Quark is in apparently all of them. And Alice is in some of them, seemingly.
This is all a lie. It has to be.
It's not. It's the truth.
Then why did she do it? Why would Alice kill herself?
She probably didn't have a reason.
What?
She'd been infected with Radical 6. That's what killed her.
But you just said she killed herself. Just tell me the truth. Then prove
I
it.
am!
Your 10 seconds ran out a long time ago. So if you don't have any proof...
I do! I have proof. There was a journal in the lab, wasn't there, Kay? Show it to me.
Journal?
It would have been in the safe.
Ah, well, Alice would have it then.
Fi, can you... I don't feel right touching a dead woman's body. Could you take a look?
Sure.
Where the fuck are Alice's pockets? It wasn't a super small book. Her hands barely shook as she quickly searched through Alice's clothing. She's wearing a cargo skirt. It was only seconds before she stopped. Slowly and carefully, she drew something out. There it was, the journal. Fi turned to hand it to me, but I shook my head. You read it. It's in Latin. I can't make heads or tails of it. She cocked an eyebrow at me and flipped the small book open. When she looked back up at me, it was with both suspicion and surprise.
Yeah, it is Latin, but translating this is impossible. It's full of words I've never heard before.
Page
I barely
263,
understand
babe.
any of this.
Page 216. Shit!
Huh?
Turn to page 216. You should be able to read that one. Fi's frown deepened, but she did it as I suggested. I watched her eyes quickly scan the page before looking up at me with renewed suspicion.
Yeah, I can read this page. How did you know? No, wait. How did you even know there was a journal in the lab?
Because I just came from there, obviously. I just knew.
You just knew. Come on.
Look, just read it, okay? Clover wants to hear what it has to say. Right?
Yeah.
Right. Give me a moment to look it over.
After a few moments of whispering to herself in Latin, Fi began to translate, paraphrasing the contents of the journal. Radical 6 reduces the processing speed of me reading this same thing over and over to the root of 1/6. One of the symptoms is an overwhelming urge to commit suicide. Research has shown that it would probably respond to the right sort of antiviral medication, but no one's been able to develop one. Nearby towns are fucked. The uninfected are pretty still fucked.
Oh Lord, please. Let their future be a bright one.
Lord, send me a sign. Fi shut the journal with a soft slap. How can she?